You guys, the day is finally here. It's time for a city update video and I can't wait to show you guys, so let's dive on in. But first, let's do a quick look back at what the layout used to look like before we changed everything in the last few weeks. Now, as mentioned in the last video, we weren't thrilled with the way the city was going, and truthfully, it was diminishing our creativity. So we thought, you know what, let's change things up and come out with a new layout. And that's exactly what we did. Over the last few weeks, we've been working on moving everything around, and now it's time to show you guys what we've done. Welcome to the brand new city layout with expanded areas and a new skyline. And check it out, we've got a whole new area over here to talk about. So obviously this is a huge work in progress. As you can see, there's still a lot of parts out that we're going through and making sure that we're getting everything put together correctly. I'm gonna cover this area in a moment, but first let's talk about this brand new city area as well as the brand new bridge that we put in connecting everything together. Now for starters, the beach area may look familiar because we really didn't change much from the old city layout. We really just fixed a lot of the things that were wrong with it or that had broken during the move, and we put everything back together and set everything back up. We also added minifigs back to the little amusement park pier area, and we set people back up in the skate park. Also covered in our last video is the new Shell station down at this end, and that is probably where it's going to stay. We like how it kind of is lower than the rest of the city, so it allows you to view the skyscrapers in the back. What's exciting about that is now we have this brand new area over here. Right now it's being used to go through everything that kind of fell apart during the move, like these pieces right here, and sorting some stuff. But this whole area is going to be a huge new section, which we already have plans for. Really excited to share it with you guys. It's not an airport, that's just storage right now, but there will be some new roads, new areas over here with a bridge right there in the future. Now the skyscraper layout may look familiar, and that's because we actually went back to our old layout from our old city. We really like how that kind of all went together, and we may change it in the future, but for now, this is pretty much how the layout is coming together. As you can see, some of the roads were damaged during the move, and we're gonna need to repair those and fix everything, as well as some of the sidewalks back here by the federal building. But for the most part, this is all coming together, and we fixed the main road up front so it all connects perfectly. Now, moving over to the new area, you can see the brand new suspension bridge that we put in down here connecting the two areas. The old city bridge broke as we were moving everything, so we couldn't reuse it anyway. And truthfully, we wanted to connect the railroad that goes through. And the only way to do that was to create a whole new bridge. And we thought adding the suspension element would make for a really cool look and just add a little bit more architectural flair to it, I guess. We used the rigid hoses with some connection points up top, and what's cool is the train goes right through it. Now in the back you can see we're working on another bridge, and that's going to be a train specific bridge, and we're going to finish that with water and trees and all that kind of stuff. It was really important with the new layout to create openings in the back to step through. That way we could access everything, because that was a challenge with the old city and the massive layout that we had prior to shifting things around. You can see now there's an access point back here. There's an access point over here. There's another access point over there. And then down towards the south end, which I'll cover more in a second, there's an access point in the back, which will eventually be filled in with a table, but for now, it allows us to work on the city back there. So speaking of the new area, as you can see, we have some new roads and new, I guess, land, because we've got some real estate brokers over here talking about this brand new land area, which I'm sure some developers are gonna love. And as you can see, there's a lot of room for new shops and whatnot over here, as well as over here facing our second beach area. More on that in a second, but we had to come up with a pretty unique intersection design over here. I'm gonna cover this whole intersection probably in a separate video and how it is intended to work. As you can see, we still need to edit the white lines that are going through here. Those should be dark gray, but it's a really intricate design, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. We have Skyloft over here as well, but that's probably not the final resting place. We're thinking we may do a train station right there and shift Skyloft over here with the hospital in the back. Speaking of the trains, you can see we implemented our train curve, which we did a full video about in the past. But what's really cool about this is we now have it going into a tunnel, which is under construction. We're actually going to build kind of a hillside back there and have the train go through it. And the way that this works is that the sidewalk over here goes back, and there's a little gate for pedestrians. They would walk across the tracks over to the train station, which I know it sounds kind of weird, but honestly, it's pretty common in real life. Like down in San Diego, for example, you walk across the tracks when you're going to the convention center, and the gas lamp district. So it's not that uncommon, and we would definitely put, gates in to make sure everything was safe. We also added a little train signal in the back. One thing that we're also trying to do is add more signage to the city to make it even more realistic. So as you can see, we've been adding signage to our various intersections. And speaking of the intersections, we've also added these new traffic light designs, which are a little bit more sturdy than the ones that we used in the past. It just prevents it from kind of sagging due to the weight of the traffic lights. And for us, we think that these work really well. They've been added to elsewhere in the city, and the plan is to switch them all over unless it's a small traffic signal, like the one right here at the end of the beach, which would be just for this road back here. Now, moving into the new area. So this is a brand new beach area over here. And what the intent is to kind of make this like the surfers beach. As you can see, we have some waves coming out, and you can see we're working on the water over here. We need to add more parts and order more parts, I should say. But if you haven't seen how we do our beaches, we did do a full video tutorial on that, so you can definitely check that out. But with the new beach, we created a new lifeguard hut. And this one has to be a little bit more advanced since it's in a surf area where people can get injured. Got a guy over here taking photos of the surfers. And then also really cool, we added this new staircase down to the beach. We added the palm tree, of course, and then this little shower over here with some standing water from people using it. And this is a wider staircase than what was on the old beaches. And really like how this design turned out. We kind of used some, nice slope pieces to make sure that it all looked cohesive. We also created a rock jetty, and this is actually what creates the surf as the, waves would come in. They would kind of build against this rock jetty, kind of what you see in California. So that's why this is going to be the surfer beach. Now, in this whole area, this is actually obviously under construction, but it's going to be a new marina. So the jetty will give way to a boat marina, and that will be in front of all of our hotels, which kind of look like South Beach. The one over here is just temporary. That's just a placeholder, but you can see the Astoria and the other hotel. We also added a crosswalk for people, and then there's going to be another road going back here. Right now it's under construction. This is going to be a stop sign intersection, no traffic lights. And then eventually there'll be a table back here. But for now, we need it to be open so we can work on the train tunnel. Outside of that, we've really been just trying to add more details back to the city and get this thing, brought back to life. Because truthfully, in the last few months, it just wasn't really doing it for us. And we're really excited to be putting everything back together. Obviously, with moving comes a lot of things that get misplaced and things that you have to go through and organize. So our airport right now is just trashed. But if you haven't seen the old videos, make sure you go back and check out what the airport looks like when it's not dirty and not a cluster, because it is really cool we were able to put together, and this will soon be cleared off and brought back to its glory. We're also still working on a airport control tower for the back, which will be really exciting when we add that. Now, the last area to cover is the pick a brick wall, or our parts wall, and we've definitely been working hard to get everything organized. Miss AFOL TV has been helping a lot with this, so definitely appreciate her for all her help. Well, guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoy the new city layout. We have a ton of new builds planned and can't wait to share it all with you guys. But until next time, thanks again for watching, and we will see you next video.